Hi everyone, hope you're well. I'm using my ring light today and doesn't it make me look freckly? Gosh, it's like one of those machines that shows up all the sun damage on your skin. Anyway, I've digressed before I've even started. So today I want to talk to you about my super flat range of toppers. So I've got my first human hair range that I launched was the luxury range, which is a slightly higher density of around 130. So that gives you a bit more volume. But I was finding it was a bit too much hair for quite a few women, and there's lots of people who want coverage, but they want something that sits really flat to their head. So that's why I launched the super flat range. They're 120% density, so it doesn't sound like much of a difference, but they sit a lot flatter. There's a lot less volume here, so you still get a good amount of hair at this point, but they just sit flatter to your head, and there's less volume at the crown and the parting. So at the moment I have got 3 colours in stock. Now, I've had lots of people asking me about specific colours, and the way that it works is my supplier will send me a list of the different colours and the different lengths that they've got in stock. Now, I then have to order them in, but as you can imagine, it costs quite a lot of money to order in the topper, and I don't have endless pots of money, so I can only order in a few at a time. So I'm going to talk you through the 3 colours that I have in stock. These can be ordered in different lengths, depending on what my supplier has. And I also do have some other colours in the super flat range, and I can send pictures from my supplier. I just don't physically have them with me to show them to you in more detail. So if you think, oh, actually, yeah, I'd really like to get a super flat topper, but she hasn't got the colour or the length that I want, please do get in touch, because there's a good chance I may have a different length. That being said, the sort of minimum length that they start at seems to be around 16 inches, going into sort of 18, 20, and then I've got a few that are slightly longer, coming to like 22. I think maybe there's one that's 24 inches. I'm really struggling to find short bob length toppers, 12 inches or even 14 inches at the moment. So just to make you aware that currently there isn't a big choice of shorter ones. So what I'm going to do is I will hold up the toppers and let you have a look at the colour, and then I will also try them on so you can see what they look like. So I'm going to start off with Georgina. She's named after me. So Georgina is a mid-brown base. She is a number 6 base. Now, if you know about browns, that is what you would call a mid-brown. So she's not quite a dark brown and she's not a light brown, she is mid. She's not hugely warm, there's a bit of warmth to her, but she's not a red brown. So Georgina has got a mix of these sort of, there's some very fine blonde highlights and there's some slightly thicker. They're not too thick that they're chunky highlights, but it's just a bit of a kind of mix. So the 3 pieces that I have in stock are all 16 inches, and they all have a light bit of layering through the ends, and I wouldn't quite say they're face framing layers, they're just sort of long layers. Georgina I've got on an 8x8 base. All of the super flat range are a silk top parting, so this bit is the silk top, so they're a free parting, which means you can have centre or left or right side parting, and then the cap is wefted. So part of what helps these to sit so flat is the 8x8 base. The bigger bases tend to hug your head more. Often I think people think that they only want a small base, but sometimes the smaller bases can kind of sit on the top of your head. So particularly with silk tops, I find that silk tops sit flatter with a bigger base. People also often say to me, well, if it's a bigger base, surely it's more hair. Not necessarily. The hair is just spread out across the cap. So in a way that makes it sit flatter because it's spread rather than all being concentrated in one place. So for me, I find that the bigger base, it gives you a really good amount of coverage, and it allows the topper to sit quite flat without being too much hair, but it's also a good amount of hair that it's going to cover any sort of thin, straggly hair. So I'm going to pop this one on for you, and then you can see what it looks like on a real person. So this is Georgina. Now, ignore what I said before about the lengths. I got them totally wrong. Georgina is the longest super flat we have at the moment, and she's actually at her longest length is 20 inches. So she's got layers throughout her, but these bits are 20. And then, as I said, she's got long layers, probably from about 17 or 18 inches. So what I like about Georgina is she's very much a brunette, but she's got these really lovely just bits of blonde that catch the light, and it's almost like you've just been on holiday and the sun's just caught your hair a bit. Obviously my hair's quite a bit shorter, but there you go, that's Georgina. All of our own brand human hair toppers are Remy Human Hair, which means that the hair is cuticle aligned, so all the hairs are facing the same way, so it's really good quality. It's not going to get tangled and matted. They're lovely, it feels like silk. So this is Georgina. The next one I'm going to show you is called Sasha. So Sasha is a lighter, I'd say like a mid to a light brown base, and then she's got this lovely sort of blondie light brown ombre coming through. Now this piece is actually a 7x7, so she's ever so slightly smaller than Georgina and Alice. She also for some reason has come with a PU strip. Now, if you want me to order in a super flat topper with a PU strip, then you can put it, email me before or put it as a comment in your order. But I'm not entirely sure why she just turned up with this. So she's a 7x7, which is slightly smaller, but still a big base that gives you good coverage. She, again, is a really nice colour, long layers, gorgeous hair. So now I will pop her on and show you what she looks like. So this is Sasha. She is 16 to 17 inches. So again, long layers, slightly smaller base. She's a really nice, what I call a blonde. So that kind of in between brown and blonde. I wouldn't say that she's got a root. I would say that it's just a darker base that then really softly blends into this lovely, what I call balayage, this light browny, dark blonde. Again, a really nice colour for summer. I actually really like this, and I'm thinking that I might either keep this piece and order another one, or order in one for myself if this sells. And then the last colour I have in stock is Alice. Alice is a dark blonde base, and then she's got lovely, it's sort of a mix of light blonde and slightly darker blonde highlights through her. She looks, in this video, she looks really ashy, and I would say she is a little bit ashy, but she has also got a bit of warmth to her. She's not completely cool. I would say she's more of like a neutral blonde. So the lighter bits, the lighter blondes, are quite cool and ashy, but then you can also see you've got a bit of the base poking through, which is this dark blonde, and then you've also got a few bits of warm blonde coming through. She's a really lovely colour. Again, Alice is an 8x8 base, and she is 17 to 18 inches. I will try her on for you, but this colour does not suit me. So, I mean, these ones I'm fine to show off because they suit me pretty well. But I'll put her on so you can see what she looks like. But yeah, don't judge how pale it makes me look. And here we have Alice. So not only is it not my colour, it's also in a centre parting, which doesn't suit me. But just to show, obviously this is my own hair, which is not part of the topper. She, it's almost like a sort of long extended root really, but very natural looking. She's just a really lovely shade of blonde. It's very hard to show blondes on video, but as I said before, she's a sort of mix of ashy and warm, which creates this lovely sort of creamy neutral blonde. And she's layered at the bottom. She's a little bit wispy at the ends, but you know, you could trim those off. Yeah, so those are all of the super flat toppers that I have in stock. As I said, I have got lots more colours. I've got some natural black sort of shades which are unprocessed, which means they are the natural colour of the hair as it came. So essentially that's virgin hair. It hasn't been dyed, it hasn't been coloured, it's just this natural kind of blacky dark brown. I've also got some European toppers. Well, I say my supplier has got some European toppers in natural dark brown, mid-brown shades. European hair is more expensive because it's harder to source. So the difference between the standard hair, I tend to go for, it's either Brazilian hair or Mongolian hair. Now, the hair is basically a bit thicker and a bit sturdier, so it can stand up to being dyed, but it still has that very fine sort of silky appearance that a lot of women like. Now, European hair is very fine and very thin and very light, so it's very similar to most sort of white women's hair. And so lots of people like that because it really mimics their own hair texture, but it does cost a lot more. So I also don't like to sell processed European hair because I think it gets damaged really easily. So the European hair that I can source is brown, and then it's up to you whether or not you want to take it to a hairdresser and get it coloured. And I've got quite a few different lengths in that. There's also a few more different sort of light blonde and blonde shades in the super flat range. So as I said, if there's a colour that you're interested in, get in touch and I can have a look and I can order it in, and it takes about 2 weeks. So just to reiterate what this range gives you, it gives you a really flat topper that sits flat to your head and is very natural looking, but it does give you a good amount of coverage and a good amount of volume, I think. As I said, I've got lots of longer lengths from 16 inches onwards. At the moment, struggling to source shorter lengths, but that's, you know, my plan is as soon as I can, I will get in some sort of 12 inch and 14 inches because I know there's quite a few ladies who don't want the extra length. So if you have an idea of what you want and you don't see it on my website, get in touch and I will find what the best piece that I can for you. Thanks for watching. Bye.